Solange Chapter 4. Continued from the last chapter. I will be leaving for the city tomorrow, Mum. I told my mum. What is the matter? You have been busy these days, and since you came, a lot of things have been happening. What is going on with you, my son? Mum, there is nothing that is worth worrying about. It's something that has to do with my return ticket. I will be fine. Are you sure, son? Yes, Mum. Where is your car? You didn't come back with it last night. It developed a fault, Mum. I have left it at the mechanic. So, how do you intend to go to the city tomorrow? She asked. I intend to borrow yours. Borrow mine? No. We have our August meeting, and I will be needing it. All the big women in the village who own cars will be going with their cars. How do you want me to go on foot? I was actually instead planning to borrow yours so that I could appear in something new. My mum refused. I couldn't use my mum's car because of her meeting. These women don't joke when they have an opportunity to show off. However, that was bad news for me. I was now left with only the option of getting my car fixed, and that was going to take a while. Firstly, I had to get it towed, then checked. I had no choice, so I got on with it immediately. It took me exactly 3 weeks for my car to get back to normal. That was too much time I had wasted. That was enough time to complete the job I had started. But as they say, it's better late than never. As the days went by, I met with Solange several times. Each time I saw her, the anger and need for me to revenge increased. This was because she was always sad and said she wouldn't have any peace until she knew who sent those guys. With my car fixed now, I woke up one early morning and hit the road. The road from the village to the city wasn't paved. Hence, it was a bumpy ride that I had. I had already gone halfway into the journey when I was told that there had been a shootout between the separatists and the government forces in the next village. As a result, the road had been blocked. The separatists had mounted a roadblock and the government forces were trying to unblock it. Luckily for me, I got that information when I was at a small town. I had to discontinue my journey and waited for the road to be reopened, which would most likely be the next day. It was risky continuing my journey that night. Because of the altercation between the separatists and the military, every car that passed through that road would obviously be searched. I had my 2 guns in my car. If they should search my car and find my guns, I would most probably run into serious trouble. Even my status as a U.S. Marine wasn't going to save me. It was widely believed that the diaspora was fueling the separatist ideology and actually funding them. If I was caught, I would be branded as a gun supplier for them. I got a room at a small hotel in the town. I took my luggage to my room. After freshening up, I came to the hotel lounge to get a drink and have something to eat. At the far end of the room, there were 3 guys drinking. They looked rugged, so I made a mental note to myself to be wary of them. On a plasma TV on the wall, a football match was going on. I wanted to watch CNN. So I humbly asked for the receptionist to switch the channel. She happily did. Why did you change the channel? One of the guys asked. The match is a replay. He said he wants to watch the news on CNN. She explained. Switch back to Supersport. He growled. Why? The receptionist asked. Because I said so. Now, switch back to the football match. The guy spoke rudely. The receptionist turned and looked at me. I motioned for her to do as the guy wanted. I didn't want any trouble, so I concentrated on my drink. After about an hour, I started feeling sleepy. I walked up to the receptionist and asked her to add the cost of the drink to my hotel bill. I then said goodnight to her and went to my room. I slept off as soon as I hit the bed. I was in the city, and I had met Solange's former boss. I threatened to kill him for sending his men to Solange. There were about 5 men in the room and they all had guns. I tried to fight, but I was overpowered. They tied me up and shot me in the chest. I flinched and woke up, sweating. It was a dream. I was very happy that it was a dream, and I prayed that it was not a sign of things to come. The next day, I got up and prepared to continue my journey. However, I was told that no vehicle was allowed to pass. There was another shootout last night. However, there was a particular villager who conveyed people through a secret footpath away from the main road. That meant I had to leave my car behind. I contemplated the idea for a while and finally decided that I wouldn't be leaving my car. I would wait until the road is clear. I went to the hotel lounge to have something to eat, and I met the same 3 guys I had met last time. I knew staying there would lead to trouble. So, I went back to my room. As I was leaving, I noticed that one of them was following me. I pretended as if I didn't notice him, but with the corner of my eye, I could see that he was quickening his pace. I quickened my pace too, heading for the safety of my room, but I saw him pulling something like a gun. I ran towards a corner in the corridor that led to rooms. I stood there and waited. He came after me with a run, his gun drawn, ready to shoot. I didn't have my gun with me. One of my guns was in the car, and the other was in my room. What was I going to do? I looked around me and noticed a huge flower vase made of clay. I carried it up and waited. As soon as he rounded the corner and saw me, I scattered the flower vase on his head. At the same exact time, he fired and missed, of course. The impact of the vase on his head made him become dazed. But he didn't drop his gun. I grabbed the hand holding the gun, and as we struggled, the gun fired several times into the ceiling. As I was about overpowering him, I saw the other 2 of his colleagues approaching. I directed his gun to the one in front, and the bullet caught him in the head. He sank to the ground and became a candidate of the journey of no return, but not before planting one bullet into the other guy I was using as a shield. 2 gone and 1 left. From my assessment, I had a maximum of just about 1 bullet in the gun of the killer I had seized. The 3rd guy, however, seemed to still have a full magazine. I was wrong. He fired just once at me and I realized he was out of bullets. I ran towards him, and we handled it the African way. I was a soldier, well trained in martial arts. So, within a few minutes, I had subdued him. "How did you guys know I was going to be in this hotel?" I asked him. "I am sorry, I am only a messenger." "A messenger of death, huh? Please don't kill me. It was Michael who told us that you were coming to the city. We have been tracking you for days." "Who is Michael?" "The bartender in the village." It now occurred to me that the village bartender had lied to me. He was part of this all along. I decided I would deal with him when I get back to the village. For now, I am focused on meeting their main boss. "I won't kill you. I will spare your life. But next time you cross my path, it will be the last time. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir." "Thank you very much, sir," he said, gratefully, and ran with his tail in between his legs. The hotel staff and the local police came to the crime scene and saw the corpses of the 2 guys. I was made to give a statement, and after they realized I was a U.S. Marine, they didn't pursue the matter further. The bodies were taken away and I went back to my hotel room. In my room, I laid on the bed and thought of the number of people I had killed because of Solange. Did she really deserve my help? We were neither related by blood nor were we even dating. Why was I putting my life on the line for her? However, I was a soldier, sworn to protect and preserve life. It was duty for me to be chivalrous, especially when I meet a lady in distress. So, I had no regrets staking out my life for Solange. She deserved all the help from me. I had been faced with greater dangers than I was facing now. I also realized that I was dealing with an organized group of criminals. Initially, I had thought they were just some random low-life criminals. I was wrong. They were well organized and had anticipated that I would come after them. So, they had placed obstacles on my way to stop me. The next day, it was announced that the road was now passable. I went to the reception area, paid my bills, and drove to the city. I arrived the city some 3 hours later and immediately got a hotel. It felt good being in the city. Here, there are amenities and good hotels. When I was fully settled at MacLord's Hotel, I called Solange and asked her to give me directions to the building of her former modeling agency. The next day, I went to the location and I was impressed by the size and magnificence of the building. Everything about it speak of money. I moved into the building and met a security guard. He asked inquire about my business here, and I told him I had an appointment with the boss. He ushered me into the waiting area, and I was offered a seat. I waited for about 30 minutes, then the secretary walked up to me. "The boss will see you now, sir," the secretary said. I walked into his office, and he asked me to sit. "Welcome, young man," he said. "How may I be of help to you?" "Good morning, Mr. Conrad." Shocked that I called him by his name, he raised his eyes and looked at me. "To be continued,"